What's going on, everybody? It's Monday, and that means we're going to do another scale news update. And the first thing that I want to show you is something new from RC4WD. And this one I almost think is a little on the funny side. They released this week a new trailer hitch adapter for your Losi Baja Ray. I like a lot of what RC4WD does. They make some awesome scale parts. However, I don't think that a trailer hitch for a full-on scale-looking trophy truck is going to be the hot release for this Christmas season. However, if you are looking to tow a trailer around with your scale trophy truck, I will put that link in the description. Next, let's touch on the shootout topic that we had last week one more time. Big Squid put out a column about the shootout last week as well to discuss the controversial results, which were obvious, and there's a million ways to argue holes in that shootout, but they stick by their results, which they should. In the column, they discussed the categories that they used to rate these, and I think that it was arguable the columns they used maybe weren't fitting for scale. They're not scale guys, and the only reason that I even want to go back and touch on this at all again is because in the column, they talk about why they didn't use an aftermarket upgrades category. And they said exactly this. We tossed around an aftermarket upgrades category for a while. It was not used in the Scaler shootout because most wheels, tires, bodies, and bumpers are fairly interchangeable on crawlers. Basically, if every truck in the shootout didn't already have hundreds of wheels, tires, body, and bumper options on the aftermarket, that category would have been in the shootout. Now, if you think that wheels, tires, bodies, and bumpers is what makes up the aftermarket for a scale car, you're crazy. That is not what makes the aftermarket. You're right. There is 100 upgrades for those. And that's why that part of the aftermarket is not what matters specifically. That part of it you can just throw out the window. Then look at what is vehicle specific. And that is what the aftermarket is for scale cars. Even after this shootout is over, it continues to blow my mind. But for now, that's all I'm going to touch on that shootout. It's still crazy. Another item that is not actually new, it's a few weeks old, but I haven't really seen it making the rounds as far as new items on the internet. It's a new all aluminum chassis from Exotech. I don't normally look at Exotech stuff because they really don't get into the scale area all that much, but this one for the Yeti, they're a Go Fast company. They're making a Go Fast part for it. All aluminum chassis, a little bit narrower. Says it's milled from 70-75 aluminum, and it retails for like 145 bucks. Overall, it's a pretty impressive looking piece. If you're into the Yetis, it's worth taking a look at. Last week also included the day we thought would never come, and that is when the HPI Ventures finally started hitting hobby shop shelves. They exist, they're here, and you can buy them. Again, it's a good rig. Hopefully, everything aligns and we see a good supply and parts availability start rolling for them. Getting on to the biggest news of last week, I actually made a video specifically on it, touching base, but Axial released the new version of their Trail Honcho. Now, I'm not gonna get into all the details on this video, but this is now Axial's most budget-friendly SCX-10-2 vehicle. They made a ton of changes, including completely new axle housing molds with molded-in C-hubs and rear lockouts. We've been running a very similar one-piece design with the Vanquish axles for over a year now, and they've worked out really well and they look great. It allows for a much more scale appearance when you get rid of the big clamping C-hubs and things like that, especially in the rear with those lockouts. Let's hope that the plastic holds up well. They also made a number of other changes to the kit, and you can see all of those in that last video that I did specifically on this car. My plans with the new Trail Honcho, I'm going to do a new budget build series, and I'm going to do it very similar to how I've done the last three. That is $50 a week, and I upload a new video on the same day every week consistently. The only difference this time is that I'm actually going to be doing the budget build side by side with Matthew Kett from Scale Builders Guild. So I'm going to do mine, he's going to do his, we're going to upload on the same day, and both of us have very different styles and preferences in ways. So it should show you guys different routes to go because my route is not going to be the way that everybody would want to go. Matt is much more on the scale detail side, while I'm looking for maximum performance generally. So it's going to keep pushing me to do everything I can to try and make this the best series that I've done yet. To try and make this series the best I can, I'm definitely going to have to throw in some weeks where I spend as little cash as possible to try and stock up for some of the bigger weeks. And to do that, I'm going to try and fit in as many of the little DIY or custom tips that I can to try and save cash and make it look as good as possible, and then spend that cash on those bigger upgrades that I'm looking for. So if you have any DIY or items that you would like covered specifically that I can do for very little money in the Honcho, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I can include some of those in that series. I'm super excited to do this build side by side with Matt from Scale Builders Guild. I think it's going to push me the entire time to try and make me do the absolute best I can. Matt's got amazing attention to detail, and as far as looks go, I'm in trouble. Performance-wise, I'll give him a run for his money. But as far as the video editing side goes, he's gonna kill me there as well. If you've never checked out Scale Builders Guild and you're into scale realism and builds and things like that, go check them out. They put together some of the best looking stuff you can find. And the last topic for the week isn't industry news, it's just news here, and that is a completely new custom build that I'm starting based on this new chassis that just arrived in the mail today from UC Fab. This is his carnivore chassis. It's an all-tube chassis that I'm going to build a completely custom truck from using a bunch of new parts that we can't show yet. But as soon as it's ready to go, I'm super excited to show them off. Right now, this thing just has an old beater hood on it. I'm just gonna use this hood for some guidelines because I've got some big plans for the front end of this car. Some things that I've never tried before and I'm really looking forward to. Most of that is going to fall after the first of the year, however. So that's all I got for this week, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate it. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and follow or subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate all the support, and we'll see you on the next one.